Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. We're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. I was out at the end of last week, went up to Shreveport, had a big Memorial Day weekend with the family, playing a little bit of golf. Enjoyed the heck out of that. Hope everybody had a wonderful and safe holiday weekend. And now back to action. And unfortunately, back to action that we knew was coming about a month ago. And the action is we don't have any action. We got no action. So that's going to be the struggle for us over the next few weeks. But we've got stuff to talk about. I'm going to talk LSU baseball. SEC meetings are going on over in Destin right now, and the football coaches are really letting it fly. And I'm interested in some of the comments, which y'all know. I don't fake interest in press conferences. Sometimes I think press conferences are completely worthless. These guys are actually talking a little bit, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Talking about talking. That's what we're going to do for a while. Glenn West will be with us in 30 minutes. Sharif Ishak at the bottom of hour number 2. Saints OTAs rapidly approaching. So there is plenty to get to. I've written some pieces up at LouisianaSports.net, statistically speaking, breaking down what was with LSU baseball. And so that's kind of where we'll start here because I haven't been with you on Thursday and Friday after LSU's baseball season wrapped up. So let me kind of give you the last rites on this baseball team in our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
All right, I have not, as I mentioned, been with you since LSU's season ended. My last show was on Wednesday afternoon. LSU would go on to lose Wednesday night against Auburn to bring the season to a close. No drama on Selection Monday. LSU was nowhere near the bubble to have a chance to compete in the NCAA tournament, and that is not surprising in the least based on the last month. It's stunning based on sitting in this chair the second Friday in February. Stunning. Because a program that had reached the top of the sport cratered. And I say it that way with the understanding that, well, it's not really a program. There are pillars of what you want each team to look like at that stadium in those uniforms, but it is a team-building process. You build one team, a lot of it leaves, go build another one. And there's a lot of chance that goes into building those teams when it comes to the MLB draft. You get commitments from high school sophomores without really knowing 2 years later whether or not they're going to be good enough or want to sign professional contracts, nor how MLB teams will feel about them 2 years after you take their commitment. You sign transfers who you may have never even met in person. You don't know whether or not they're going to get drafted 3 weeks later. And you've got to use all these factors and all this uncertainty to try to put the next team together. And Jay Johnson's really good at it. And when he had to go get dudes in 2022, he found Eric Raiselman. He found Paul Gervais. And they cobbled together a pitching staff and got close to winning a regional. And then in 2023, he got Tommy White, and he got Paul Skeens, and he got Thatcher Hurd. And it worked. And the year after that, they weren't as good, but he found Gage Jump, and he found Luke Holman. Yeah, Michael Braswell was okay. Yeah, you got something out of Mac Bingham. But you're all the while signing these top recruits, and some of them are showing up, and they become Derek Curiel, and they become Jared Jones, and they become great on the mound. And then sometimes you go into the portal and it doesn't work. They've signed some guys that couldn't play. They've signed some high school guys that could play too well, didn't show up. And this iteration was, to me, the perfect storm of You lost guys that you thought might be able to come back. Like, we were iffy on Ethan Fry this time last year. And he swung it like crazy in the NCAA tournament, and the Astros gave him $1 million, but he could have come back. He didn't. But you had to go out in the transfer portal and try to chase a little bit of pop, because Jared Jones, who did come back the year prior, well, he's not going to come back another year. So you got a break on that end that helped you win a national championship. Well, Fry left. Now you look up and I got to go replace some guys, and it didn't quite work. Well, how did your young guys progress? Well, some did. Jake Brown exploded, was incredible. Hit 17 home runs and missed 3 weeks. You give him what most LSU baseball players get, which is 3 weeks at the end of regular season and then 2 weeks in regular season at least into the postseason, and that's a 22-homer guy. He blossomed into a great player. And I would suggest Cade Arambidi exploded. Had a great breakout season. Derek Curiel was every bit as good this year as he was last year. Stephen Milam improved. Was better offensively. Was about the same defensively, which is great. But your young pitchers didn't step up. The position player guys did, the pitchers did. And you've had guys progress through this program and be great pitchers. Cade Anderson did it. Kason Evans and William Schmidt never approached that this year. And you didn't have some superstar freshman step up. Marcos Paz got some outs, but his ERA was over 6. We'll talk about that in hour number 2. Well, did some of your other young pitchers progress? No. Maverick Rizzi didn't progress. Like, it just, nothing really hit except for your high school signees that you had in the program for 2 years. That was all that you got out of this year. Seth Darnar could have been okay, but he got hurt twice. Stanfield never became what he was last year because he got hurt. He was hurt after the second game of the season. And so it just was a perfect storm of awfulness. And now you got to go fix it. And I took some solace in this today because I realized that y'all have day jobs that aren't revolving around college baseball. So you got to know about what your job is. I can dive a little bit deeper into team over team over team than most of you can. So I know some names around the country or in the SEC that you probably don't. But my point in this exercise is the thing that LSU needs more than anything else is pitching. Because there is not one pitcher in this program right now, not one, who I can point to next year and go, okay, I'm going to get this from you, and it's really good. Not one. I think Kason Evans can be really good next year, but I just watched him be pretty mediocre. I think William Schmidt can be pretty good next year. I just watched him be pretty mediocre. Same thing goes with Paz and Rizzi and Lockenmeyer and all these guys. Like, there's not one I can point to and go, I know exactly what I'm getting there, and that's really good. I can't point to one of those guys and go, this is where he's going to fit into next year's staff. Not one. So you have to go get pitching. I now believe, based on that confluence of events that we just watched from a Jay Johnson team, where you lost high school guys you were hoping you were going to get coming into this team, where you brought in 4 upperclassmen transfers that were proven commodities, where your starting left fielder got hurt and couldn't be himself the whole season. You had so many negative things happen over the course of the season, and they still swung the bats well enough statistically. But they went to Mississippi State and scored 8 runs in every game and got swept. So pitching is the problem here. That's what's got to be fixed. And if you're an LSU fan, you automatically just go, oh, Skeens, Anderson, like we can do this. And that is true. You can do that. But that's a high bar. Here's what I'm looking at. Like Georgia this year went to Stanford and got Joey Volsko and went to Michigan and got Dylan Vigue. And those two guys spearheaded a rotation that was plenty good enough. And Volsko was a big, big get. Vigue I don't remember as much, but LSU just played Georgia. I think you recognize those guys. They were in the portal, got them. Like Auburn went and got Jake Marciano from Virginia Tech. He's an ace. He's an ace. Mississippi State. Now, that's extenuating circumstances where a coach moved from Virginia. But, like, Tomas Valinkis was Virginia's Friday guy, and they got him at Mississippi State, and he was great. Ruger Riojas. Texas found him 2 years ago, at UTSA. He became an ace. Y'all remember Zach Root at Arkansas last year? They found him at East Carolina. Ace. LSU faced Hurston Waldrop, transferred from Southern Miss to Florida. LSU faced him in the championship series. Ace. Big leaguer. I'm not even mentioning the guys right under your nose. Gage Jump, Luke Holman, Anthony Heinsohn, Paul Skeens. These guys are available every single year. And I don't know what the pool of money looks like over there at the box. And I don't know who's going to be in the transfer portal come June 1st. And some people are already committing, which I find odd because the portal's not closed. Not open. But the point stands, people are committing. These guys are in the portal every year. And LSU needs to get at least one, probably two of them. And if you tell me you got two of them and you're prepared to let William Schmidt and Cooper Moore and Kason Evans duke it out for the third spot, I'm in. That's fine. All of a sudden, you've moved Evans and Schmidt from the top of the rotation to the back end of the rotation. That's a different story. And I'm okay with that. But this is where you've got to do it. And these names, I think these are names you know. So that's where it's got to go. That's not breaking news. But LSU went light in the portal from a starting pitching perspective. They got Cooper Moore, and that was kind of what you thought you got. I don't know if they thought Devin Sheeran would start. He did a little bit at Mount St. Mary's. I don't know if they thought Zach Cowan would start when he came over in that same class. I don't know if they thought that Danny Lockenmeyer had a chance to start or Santiago Garcia had a chance to start. But it felt like the guy that they brought in that was a starter at the Power 5 was Cooper Moore. It's got to be like one tick there. You got to go up a tick. I need Valinkis. I need Volchko, Marciano, Riojas, Jump. Just going to the big leagues. It's out there. It's got to happen. Because as I look at this entire body of work now for a season, and we know what it is, they had everything go against them you could possibly have from an offensive perspective, reasonably speaking. And they still, by the end of the season, throwing Braun in there, Milam getting hot, Aaron Beatty getting hot, Curiel swinging the bat like he can, getting contributions from freshman players, and they hit enough. They didn't hit at a national championship level, but that was as bad as it could have gotten. And they still hit some. They couldn't pitch. You got to go get pitchers. We're going to get into the statistics in the second hour of some of the stuff that I dug up on pitching. It was terrible this year. Terrible. And so these guys are available every year in the portal. You've got to go get one or two of them. You change everything around with two of them. It's a team-to-team situation in all sports, but college baseball as well. It's not really a program. And this team that Jay Johnson built just buckled. And nobody saw it coming. And I don't know that Jay could have seen it coming. But he's going to change some of the things he does, change some of the things he looks for, and I'm going to talk about that as we move forward here. But he's got to hone in on pitching for the next team, 2027 team. I need two dudes coming out of the portal to pitch, and they'll be out there. I mean, Jackson Jelkins is another name that I hadn't even thought of, but that's a guy at Kentucky who they nabbed that became an ace. He was great. Everybody got him. LSU just didn't. Counted on your two sophomores, and it didn't work. That's our opening drive, brought to you by Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Glenn West in 15 minutes. When we come back, these coaches are yapping a little bit over in Destin. Lane's one of them, and I'll talk about that. And Greg Sankey's talking, and I'll talk about that. Mike Elko's talking, and John Summerall just lied. And I'll talk about that, too. We'll get it when we get back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Man, they have got incredible deals over there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. And it might be time for you to get behind the wheel of a brand new car. And if you're looking to do that, you can get a 2026 Silverado at 0% APR financing now until the end of the month. You got till the end of the week, right? 36 months, 0% APR until the end of the month on a Silverado. You want a GMC Sierra 2026? You can get one at 2.9 financing for 72 months now until the end of the month. They're there. And look, if you're looking for a Trailblazer or Chevy Trax, low as $30,000. If you want a new ride, go to Highway 61 in St. Francisville. See my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You can check out the entire inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic buttered spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Love telling you about David Duvall over at One Bath and Closets. Maybe it's a good time. Now you got a kiddo leaving the house from high school. Time to go up there and change that bathroom around, maybe turn that into a guest room or something. David Duvall can do it soup to nuts. He can handle a full-scale renovation if that's what you're looking for. Did it at the Haldane House here under our roof at Guarantee. Brian hosts our morning show, Mornings with Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3, and he contacted David and said, hey, looking for a complete revamp of our bathroom. Want to change vanities from 1 to 2 and handle that and everything that goes into it. And David said, yeah, we can do it. Knocked it out. And it's wonderful. It's customized to exactly what you're looking for. New, done on time, and on the proper budget. It's David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. They do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. They've got financing options available, 0% up to 18 months, same as cash if you qualify for it. Go check out some of the pictures of their great work at onebathandclosets.com. You can get a free consultation. Doesn't cost you anything. Just start the summer out sitting down with David Duvall and talking about what he can do for you. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online at onebathandclosets.com. All right, it is talking season. It's baseball season for everybody else, but it's talking season for us here. And they're doing a lot of talking over in Destin. So I'm going to hit a couple of the high notes here that have come out over the last couple of days for the SEC spring meetings. And we'll start chronologically and with the local front with Greg Sankey talking about Lane Kiffin's Vanity Fair piece and whether or not Kiffin would be reprimanded. And the suggestion was that it was possible. And I'm not here to blindly defend Lane Kiffin. I believe, consuming as much SEC content as I do, there is a majority, I'm not sure to what degree the majority is, but there's a majority that will go to bat for her coach almost no matter what. Because that's my team, and I've got my media hat on, and I'm coming at you. And I'm just not wired like that. Like, I was thrilled Lane Kiffin took the LSU job. I don't think he did it the right way. Like, I think the crap storm that he created at Oxford was not great. Like, I don't think that was good. And I'm okay saying that. I'm thrilled he came. I think he's a great coach. I'm thrilled he's got Charlie Weiss. I'm happy Prince William Mielen's here. I'm thrilled that Winnie Watkins is here. I think it's great. I think they got a chance to have a really good run here while he's the head coach. I think that the way he handled himself at the end of the line in Oxford was a tough look. And like a lot of LSU fans just go, just point and laugh. Look, you Ole Miss, your coach is leaving town. He's coming to us. Like, I don't care what he does. Like, I'm just not wired like that. I'm gonna call it as I see it. And there's certainly going to be some purple and gold tint to my glasses, but I'm not going to just be blind about it. And so I promise I'm not just going to staunchly defend him for everything, but in this instance, what are we reprimanding him for? You would have to determine that Lane Kiffin never, ever had a family member of a recruit suggest that moving to Oxford, Mississippi might be a problem for their family. You would have to prove that to be true. Because Lane Kiffin didn't say, hey, Ole Miss has got some real racial issues. He didn't say that. He said, I heard it from parents and grandparents. I don't know how if you want to say, yeah, I wish you wouldn't have said that, great. I wish you didn't do the Vanity Fair piece. But a reprimand seems ridiculous. Now, it's come out that Steve Sarkisian is not going to be reprimanded for saying that you can transfer to Ole Miss and take basket weaving. So I doubt Lane Kiffin's going to be reprimanded for this. But I can't imagine why he would be. Like, I'm completely on Lane's side here, and it doesn't seem to be, to me, an issue with a whole lot of gray to it. Seems pretty easy. Like, again, I don't think he should have said it, but I don't think that he was lying or trying to destroy Ole Miss with a comment. And I got a lot of that out of Oxford, which goes back to the initial part of this comment, that the commentary on it that I found to be a little bit laughable. But look, that's not the only conversation that's going on. I told you at the end of the last segment that John Sumrall just lied. And I can't prove that either. Nobody can. But I think he lied, and I'm confident that he lied, because he was asked about coaches leaving during a playoff run. And he was asked if Tulane had not allowed John Sumrall to coach in the college football playoff while taking the Florida job, what would he have done? And Sumrall said, quote, I would have stayed at Tulane and not taken another job. We were playing for a championship. That's not a shot at anybody. Okay, John. That is preposterous. To suggest that you would be staying at Tulane and turning down the Florida and Auburn jobs because you were, quote, playing for a championship. Tulane had as much chance to win that national championship as me and my 1-year-old and my cat, which is none percent chance to win. You want to say you were playing in it? Fine. But you took this job to get in and progress through and to potentially win championships. And Florida and Auburn offer that, and Tulane does not. And you got the opportunity, and you were going to take that. I cannot possibly, in any circumstance, see a world where John Sumrall would sit down at Tulane when two of the better jobs in college football had come open. Period. It's the same reason he left Troy for Tulane, because it's better. And it's the same reason he left Tulane for Florida, because it's better. And to sit there in front of a microphone and say you would not have left is just, it's laugh-inducing is what it is. It makes me laugh. It's not a court of law. He didn't perjure himself. Nobody can prove him wrong. So he can say it if he wants to spin public relations in that way. It doesn't make it any more reasonable. It's ridiculous. And I don't even see it. I'm not even suggesting it's ridiculous from sitting here in Baton Rouge because Lane Kiffin did that. This has nothing to do with LSU and Baton Rouge. This is purely out of one lens. Tulane's coach said I wouldn't go to Florida because we're competing for a championship. Come on. That's just a lie. And it's ridiculous. And it makes me laugh. There are no penalties from it. No one can ever prove him wrong, but it's just absurd. Now a more refreshing take that I found to be truthworthy. Mike Elko was asked about the playoff and what size it should be. And Elko said, why would anybody listen to what we have to say? You're asking me, Mike Elko, how many teams should make the playoff? 40, because then I won't get fired. And then he continued, he said, we're not answering based on what's right for college football. We're answering what's right for us. And that's always the case. Greg Sankey's not out here trying to protect college football. He's trying to make sure that his constituents, his 16 schools, have the best chance to win the most games and make the most money and win the most championships so that he can drive revenue up for everybody on the television side of things and everybody's happy. So he's not trying, and that's everyone's self-serving. It's just like politics in this way. At least Mike Elko had the guts to stand there and go, yeah, that's why you asking me. Don't ask me. I want 40 in, so I'm in every year so I don't get fired. Refreshing. And I found that to be absolutely correct. So there's a lot more that's being said. Lane Kiffin talks in like 2 hours. I think he gets 30 minutes at the podium. That's frightening for somebody who has to cover everything that he says. Whenever he gets in front of that forum, you've got those personalities that are going to have the microphones and are going to talk. I'm sure Lane will say something this evening that will warrant our discussion on tomorrow's show. And maybe that's good for this time of year for us to have that type of conversation. But none of that discourse is especially significant, like in terms of actual ramifications. What do I care if Lane Kiffin gets fined $25,000 or if Lane Kiffin gets an email saying don't do this, or what do I care if John Summerall would or wouldn't have hypothetically left and Mike Elko gets a 40-team playoff? Like, none of it is overly consequential. It's just discussion because that's what discussion is. And so I wish we were breaking down a regional, but we're not. So we'll talk about what the coaches had to say in Destin, and we'll continue to do that throughout the next couple of days as they wrap things up, I believe, tomorrow at the SEC spring meetings over on the Emerald Coast. When we come back, Glenn West, 24/7 senior writer, going to talk some Tigers with us.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Baseball season's not over at Marucci. Never over at Marucci. That's the beauty of it. So even if your youth season is over, but you've got a little one that wants to keep working, well, Marucci allows that. Become a member at Marucci. You get key card access to the cages and the pitcher's mounds 24/7. Summertime, want to send them there during work? You can do it. Summertime. There is no time. That's why Marucci's open 24/7. Take some hacks, get some pitches in. You can do it all over at Marucci. You can also take a tour and see where the official bat of Major League Baseball is made. 1,200 of them every single day. Learn the story about how Marucci became the official bat of Major League Baseball. They're online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour, and every ticket to the tour comes with a 20% discount in the Campus Tour store and in the Hitter's House. Again, that's maruccisports.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
We're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net, immense.net. Let's chat with Glenn West, senior writer over at Go 24/7, covers the Tigers. Joins us on Tuesdays. Glenn, how are you?
I'm doing great, hon. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I could be better, I guess, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future of LSU baseball. I think we've picked the past apart enough, and the writing was on the wall for the last 3 weeks there. So how do you feel overall, big picture, about LSU moving into 2027?
Yeah, I still feel very optimistic just because of the people that are in that building that are going to be running the show. Jay Johnson's resume speaks for itself, and I think that he's going to use this time very wisely. I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but it's a little different here when you have a chance to have 10 to 12 days to prepare for the off season and the transfer portal that's coming up here, as opposed to doing what they normally are doing, which is playing deep into the postseason at this time of year. So if there was a year where you were going to very much underwhelm in a season, I think this is a year where LSU will very quickly have an opportunity to add some very important pieces to the mix here in the short term with the transfer portal, and then shift their work to the MLB draft. But this is going to be one of the first times here where Jay has not had to prepare for a postseason, and so I think all that energy and all that time and effort will now be put into rebuilding this roster in very short order, and I think that is something that he's more than capable of doing.
What are some of the chief needs that he has?
Yeah, look, I think you have to start with the pitching staff. I think you have to start with retention. I think Kason Evans, William Schmidt, Cooper Moore, Marcos Paz are all capable pitchers, all guys that I think can continue to develop here and be part of winning teams. I mean, you've seen it with Kason Evans. He's been a part of a winning team. I think Schmidt has made some strides, but certainly still has some work to go. And then, Cooper Moore is a strike thrower that I think you'd really love to get back and kind of be a consistent arm. But I still think that they need probably at least a couple of big swing type pitchers in terms of guys that you think can either start for you or be very big time, fill major roles on your pitching staff. I think you need at least two of those kind of players. I think you need to probably fill out some depth on the pitching staff as well, with hopefully some high velocity and high potential, high ceiling kind of arms, whether that comes in the portal or with this freshman class. I think remains to be seen, but I think you have to start on the mound, and that was one of the big things, even in the week leading up to kind of their end of their season. He talked about was just like having to really go back and do a full scale reshaping of how they view the pitching staff and how they analyze what they need in terms of getting that group back on track in particular, because I do think it's going to have to start there, and I think that's where you'll see a lot of focus in the early part of the transfer portal here. I think you have to go out and find some major impact arms to help hopefully complement a solid returning core as well.
So you mentioned a solid returning core, and I want to go to the offense for that part of it. We obviously understand what Cade Arambidi did, what Mason Braun did, Omar Cerna as well, clearly. Do you think they have enough pop? Because he said in that now kind of famous press comments, like, we chased power and we don't need to do that. Or do you expect them to go get a bunch of guys that try to hit 320 that can run, and do you think they've got enough pop that's coming back?
Yeah, look, I think I think they do have some good power returning here. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you got to get Aaron Beatty and Cerna, all those guys back. I think if we're working from that assumption there, then yes, I do believe that they have some good pop on this roster already. That doesn't mean you can't go out and add some more, but I believe him wholeheartedly when he said, look, we want to try to develop from within as much as possible here going forward. But, at the same time, you're losing Derek Curiel, you're losing Chris Stanfield, you're losing Jake Brown, you're losing more than likely Stephen Milam. All those seniors that probably didn't work out for you this year are also moving on. And so there's a lot you have to replace within that group, just in terms of what you're losing. And so, what kind of mix they want to draw from the incoming freshmen, as opposed to, and then also keeping some of the other younger eligible, kind of sophomore, junior type players, guys like John Pearson, guys like Jack Ruckert, William Patrick. I think those are all going to be priority pieces as well that they'd like to try to ideally hold on to. But I do think you're also going to have to probably add a couple outfielders, starting caliber outfielders. But I don't think that it's going to be focused heavily on power. I think what Jay's learned this year is that he just wants to get guys that can get on base. And, that's when they've been at their best, is guys that have been able to consistently get on base and move the offense forward, continue to apply pressure, get into scoring position. Those kinds of players are ones that he's always, thrived with. And I would imagine that there is a return to form in that sense, in terms of just guys that he thinks can get on base at the SEC level, and then guys that can obviously drive those players in and kind of follow his structure and his system that he likes to run here at LSU offensively.
First base is generally a power spot where you can find some of that pretty easily, and they tried that obviously this year and ended up settling on Mason Braun at the end, who hit for a lot of power in high school, did not hit for power this year at LSU. Do you feel like he's probably the first baseman, or do you think that they will try to find some thunder there, and they're fine if he needs to play left field?
Yeah, I think it's a little more up in the air. Like, I thought he, for his first time playing first base, was very admirable, did a really nice job of filling in there, and was obviously one of their better hitters down the stretch. But, I do think that if there is an option out there for them to, add an impact first baseman, a guy that they feel like can give them that juice or that extra power, then I think there's a lot worse scenarios that could play out than having to move Mason Braun to the outfield, because, I think right now you could essentially kill two birds with one stone in that sense. If you add one player, but you also fill a spot in the outfield with Braun, then that, really kind of helps you going into next year with your outfield, which is going to undergo a really massive change there with losing the three guys that you've been counting on for the last 2 years. So I think that maybe there's still a little bit more up in the air there in terms of Braun's future. I think it'll also come down to what Braun and Jay Johnson decide in their exit meetings in terms of what the best future position looks like for him. And if they feel like it's the outfield, if they want to shift more to the outfield going forward, then I think they will try to find somebody at first base with some power, with some added bat juice that they could infuse into that lineup.
Glenn West is our guest, senior writer over at Go247, talking Tigers. Let's transition to basketball. It's pretty clear to me in reading the NCAA's writing that they're looking at these international guys and they're not thrilled with that. And then I look at Alan Graves, who has said he's going to stay in the draft. Not that he's committed to LSU, but certainly LSU was thought to have a chance to land him. And are you a little unconcerned about the numbers that Will Wade may have on this roster?
I don't think so. I'm actually more probably concerned about the R.J. Lewis case, I think, than the international guys.
Okay.
Like, I think the Lewis one is going to be very, very hard to win just because of the situations that we saw play out with Alabama this last year, and that Bediako case is very, very similar to what Lewis is going to have to go through here in the months ahead. But I actually feel a little bit better about the international guys just because I think that they. None of those players that they brought in are at least to my knowledge signed actual NBA contracts. Their draft rights were to those teams, but they, I think a couple of them maybe played in summer league, like Madar, I think played in a summer league. But most of the guys that they have signed over from the international side, have not been on NBA teams or on G League teams, and so that's a little bit more clear-cut cases to me. I think the real kind of area here where the NCAA, if they really, really wanted to, could push back at LSU is if they get this 5-for-5 thing in play during the summer. Like if they get that rule passed, then there's going to be kind of an age, a maximum age for some of these players to participate. But at the same time, like if LSU gets all these guys in under the gun and eligible before that rule comes into play, then they, will be naturally grandfathered in too. So I feel pretty good about most of the guys LSU has signed or has committed to their program. It's just going to be a process of getting them eligible, getting their records transferred over, getting them visas, student visas and all that stuff. Like that's just all going to take a little bit of time here that should play out over the summer. But I feel pretty good about where they sit with most of the international guys.
Glenn, we appreciate the time. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
He's Glenn West, senior writer over at Go247. Let me talk about First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust, you can find them online at fabt.com. Started up in 1910, 116 years later, they're still rocking and rolling in southeast Louisiana, up to 25 locations. So no matter where you are, Dutchtown, where they gave away the 500 flags last week, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Long I-12, St. James, St. John, Lafourche. No matter where you are in southeast Louisiana, there's a First American Bank and Trust right there nearest you. And what makes it awesome is that every single decision that's made on your commercial loan, on your personal loan, is made locally by those at First American Bank and Trust. When you call, you get somebody from here, not somebody in Chicago. Get somebody from southeast Louisiana. They're part of your community. They're making the decisions on your loans. It's First American Bank and Trust. So if you're looking for that commercial loan, looking for that personal loan, check them out at First American Bank and Trust, fabt.com. All right, we're chugging along here on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Kind of a tough day to get back in the swing of things here from a work perspective. I got a couple of buddies texting me that it's just not been their favorite day of work after the long weekend. I get it. Usually we get a big pep in our step around here this time of year, but that's not going to be the case this year. Doesn't mean we're going to shut off the faucet, though. Got to go ahead and keep talking and keep going over things. I've got a couple of things coming up in hour number 2 with statistics on LSU's pitching and on LSU's offense that I found interesting. I wrote a couple pieces at LouisianaSports.net dealing with that. Sharif Shackle Talk Saints OTAs coming up at 2:30. There was a selection show on Monday, and I watched it. And I wasn't as emotional about it as I thought. I thought I was going to start crying watching them pick baseball teams. But I just thought that there would be a real tug on the heartstrings. And to an extent there was, but it wasn't as bad as I was anticipating. And that makes me optimistic for watching some baseball this weekend and certainly moving forward in the tournament. But I think that while me breaking down the Morgantown Regional is probably not the best idea for content in Baton Rouge, considering LSU's out of the tournament, I do think what the selection committee did over the weekend and how they put the field together is relevant to our discussion almost every year. So I've got thoughts on the way the selection process went and what that means for LSU in terms of scheduling moving forward. So we'll talk about that to close out the hour next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is that website. Look, captives are a big deal, and they're getting bigger because everyone is kind of looking for a way to change the way that they pay for their insurance. It's just becoming untenable with the increases in rates. So if you have a sizable premium, you've got great loss history, you've got great risk management, and your broker has not showed you what a captive could look like for you, contact the Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com. Say, hey, I need some help here. Somebody show me how this can work as far as a captive can go. It could be a game changer for your bottom line when it comes to your insurance cost. The Highland Insurance Group here in Baton Rouge, Jonathan Carver and his team deal with captives every single day. Find them online at HighlandIG.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know this.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Brought to you every single Tuesday by Immense Networks. They're online at immense.net. That's immense.net. If your IT department is overworked, if you have a third-party IT department that you're not happy with, just contact Immense. They're awesome. They've been at it for 2 decades. They're small enough for that personal touch that you're going to get with a local company, but they're big enough to handle big business as well. They'll monitor your IT situation 24/7. They can be proactive in making sure that you're up and running and doing things the way that you need to do them. You need to worry about what you're doing to run your business. Let Immense handle the IT. It's Immense Network Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net, immense.net. All right, let me take 5 minutes here to talk about the selection committee and what they did in this in this field of 64. They went really, really firm on the RPI, like really firm on the RPI. Here are the hosts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So they missed 9. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 19. The two that did not get there, that were top 16 RPI teams, were number 9 USC and number 16 Ole Miss. They were the only two in the RPI 16 that did not host. And both of them had significant red flags that the committee could look at. USC did finish 9th in the RPI. They were 1-11 in quad 1. Well, that is a throwout. No, you can't host. So that was obvious. And Ole Miss was on the team sheet, which the committee gets, was 15-17 in the SEC. 15-17, how do they get to that? Well, they were 15-15 in the league. They lost the Governor's Cup, which is a midweek game that counts as an SEC game to the committee, not to the Southeastern Conference, but to the committee. They lost that game to Mississippi State, and then so that made them 15-16, and they lost their first game to Missouri in the tournament. So with the 15-17, they were under 500 in SEC play. So I thought Ole Miss with 14 quad 1 wins and a 16 RPI would have a decent case. 15-15 in the league, but wasn't. It was 15-17 in the league. They got beat. But it was everybody else was the RPI. You look at the top 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The top 7 in the RPI, and then Florida at 11. And Florida at 11 had 21 SEC wins. They were 16-12 against quad 1, and their strength of schedule was second. So that was a huge feather in their cap. Now, we always go off of the number in the conference, right? You want to get in the field, make sure you win 13. You want to host a regional, get to 16, 17. You want to be a top 8, 19, 20. And that usually holds up. But it didn't for Arkansas. And you look at this Arkansas resume, y'all. They won 17 SEC games, and then they went to the tournament and won a couple more. So they're knocking on the door of 20 SEC wins. They were 18-13 against Quadrant 1 with a strength of schedule of 10. Like that is a good resume. Almost 20 SEC wins, 18-13 against Q1, strength of schedule 10. And they don't get a host because their RPI is 21. It's like, I don't even know what we're using the RPI for. We have a strength of schedule that's 10. Their strength of schedule is 10. Like, how many quad 1 wins are these other hosts getting? Well, West Virginia had 8. 8. They're hosting. State had 9. Southern Miss had 9. Nebraska had 9. Florida State had 7. Arkansas had 18. But RPI is 21. You're out. It's just, they lean on it really heavy, y'all. And while y'all were talking and LSU fans were trying to digest what was going on and saying, well, if they can get to 13, they get to 13, and everybody's going, well, your RPI is not going to be good enough. And I just, hand up, like I'm looking at it going, well, I'm not sure about that. Like I know the projection tool in Warren Nolan, but let's see how everybody does. And then if we get to that point where LSU does get to 13 wins, I'll look at the whole resume and look at it. And every committee is different. Every committee and every bubble are different. And in this case, they leaned heavily on the RPI until they didn't, because Mercer didn't get in and their RPI was 28, but they were 1-4 in quad 1. So essentially what I took from this, and not that next year's committee is the same as this year's committee, so I can't necessarily draw a straight line, but if you're an SEC team, make sure your RPI is in the top, well, if you're going for top 8, top 10, even though LSU was outside of that last year. And I said I wasn't 100% sure they were a top 8, and I got destroyed on the internet because LSU was not a top 8 RPI, but they got a top 8 national seed, and I was thrilled. But you got to have a strong RPI, and you got to make sure that you don't have a big red flag on your resume, like Ole Miss did. Ole Miss had a losing conference record of significantly, because they were 3 games under in the league, because they played that Tuesday game in the Governor's Cup, and then they lost to Missouri. But like Kentucky gets in having won 2 of 8 SEC series. But they had a better quad 1 mark than Mercer, and they didn't get swept. And they just kept stacking up one win after one win after one win, and they finished with 13. And that was enough. So again, it's not linear. You can't point to one. But when I looked at what the committee did yesterday, they went so hard on the RPI unless you had a big red flag. So stay out of your quad 4 losses. Arkansas didn't do that. Arkansas lost 5 games to quad 3 and quad 4, and that probably cost them with the RPI points. It's an inexact science. It's really fun. That's why I love May every year, because it creates chaos. But I think the field is good. I think the seeds are fairly fair. And now I hope UCLA or Georgia Tech pummels the SEC in Omaha. That's my sincere hope. We'll see. That's it for hour 1 here, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. We're going to talk a lot of stats for LSU's season. I dove deep into them as kind of the full autopsy, and we'll put that in the rearview mirror, and we'll start talking about moving forward after Sports Center.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power, GoTrosOnline.com. 22 years in business here in Baton Rouge, 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales. What you get at GoTro's Outdoor Power is a family environment. That's what they pride themselves on over at GoTro's. But that doesn't mean that it's some like mom and pop shop where they got just a few things on hand. No. They're the National Hustler Deal of the Year 2 out of 3 years. Want a zero turn? Get behind the wheel of the hustler. They can do it for about $100 a month. They have the largest hustler inventory in the state by far, largest parts inventory in the state as well. If you don't have a trailer, no big deal. They can get it to you. They're running trucks 8 hours a day to get parts where they need to be. So if you need that customer service with your zero turn to help maintain your property all summer long as that grass is growing like crazy, GoTro's Outdoor Power is your friend. 2 locations, Baton Rouge and Gonzales. Of course, they're online at GoTrosOnline.com.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit SpineCenterLA.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bank, and we start with the NBA and the Western Conference Finals continuing tonight. It'll be the Thunder hosting the Spurs with the series tied at 2 games apiece. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio with coverage getting underway at 8 Eastern and tip-off set for 8:30 Eastern. The winner of the West will face the Knicks in the NBA Finals. New York finished off a sweep of Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals last night, and Jalen Brunson was asked why the Knicks have been so strong in closeout games this postseason.
We've been playing hard, mixing a little luck as well, but I think most importantly, we're becoming focused. Just focusing one possession at a time and just playing hard for that possession and worrying about the future later.
The NBA Finals will begin on June 3rd at the winner of the West home court. Stanley Cup playoffs, Vegas Golden Knights looking to advance tonight to their 3rd ever Stanley Cup final. They host the Avalanche in Game 4, holding a 3-0 lead. Colorado's Nathan McKinnon won't play despite suffering an injury in Game 3. They will face off just after 9 Eastern on ESPN. In baseball, the Cubs have lost 9 in a row. They'll try to snap their losing skid tonight with a game against Pittsburgh. At the French Open, men's play, 60 to Daniel Medvedev, upset in 5 sets.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday as OTAs roll along. I'll tell you the one player who's hurting himself the most by not being at workouts. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. Sharif Ishak talking Saints OTAs coming up in 30 minutes. We're going to spend some time diving into the numbers. I do this every year. Last year I did it from my Omaha hotel room. Now I'm doing it before they throw a single NCAA postseason pitch. But those are the breaks in life, right? But I did it for the pitching, and I did it for the offense, and I want to dive into both of them. And I'll start on the negative. We'll build towards more positive with the pitching. But man, there are some statistics here, y'all, that are just unbelievable. Unbelievable. LSU threw 90 wild pitches this year. Kentucky was second worst in the league with 62. That's a 28 pitch difference. Kentucky was 15th, and they were 28 better than LSU. 13th in the SEC, which is bad. If I told you you're going to throw the 13th most pitches, the 13th fewest, so almost the most wild pitches in the league, you'll be 13th in the league. That's a terrible spot to be in. They threw 45. That's half of LSU's 90. 13th in the SEC was half of LSU. LSU threw 53 wild pitches in 30 league games. 13th in the SEC through 25. That's less than half. So I did the big numbers here. You had 289 walks issued on the season. I'm not asking you to do the math. I'll do it for you, but I'm just putting these numbers out there. You threw 90 wild pitches, and I'll just toss in the 13 pass balls you threw because they were, not caught by the guys trying to catch it and block wild pitches. That is 392 for the season. Free bases, walks, wild pitches, pass balls. You divide that by 58 games. LSU was just handing out walks, wild pitch. Oh, I didn't even do hit by pitches. And I got the stats right here, so I can do that too. See how many times they hit batters. 79 more. Oh, man, this number is about to get even worse. I forgot to do it, so let me do it. 392 plus 79. 471 is my new number over 58 games. 8.1 free bases a game. 8.1 free bases per game. 8.1. That is won almost every inning. Considering you didn't pitch the 9th inning on the road almost ever. You didn't pitch it you did once in Starkville. I shouldn't say that. You did once in Starkville. You didn't in Athens because you got 10 run. You didn't in Ole Miss. You got 10 run in one of those and lost all 3. You weren't pitching the 9th inning on the road very often. That is won a game. Won an inning. Every inning, you're giving away walk, hit batsman, pass ball, wild pitch. 8.1 per game. That is truly remarkable. Now, I looked at the numbers season long for Kason Evans and William Schmidt, and I wanted to just eyeball them with Anderson and Ianson. I know that's not completely fair to them. Anderson and Ianson would make a lot of duos look bad. They would have dwarfed Lang and Poche at least 2 of those years. And those 2 guys, Poche is the winningest pitcher ever, and Lang went 13-0 his freshman year and was the Friday guy for 3 years. And Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson were phenomenal. But you look at the numbers, William Schmidt's season-long ERA was 4.22. That's a run higher than Anderson and a run and a half higher than Ianson. Evans was 5.93, a 5.93 ERA for the season. That's a jump for Kason Evans of 2.05 to 5.93. That's just hard to put together. And it wasn't the opponent batting averages that got him. Like Schmidt allowed opponents to hit 224. Ianson was 218. That's 6 points. That's not that big a difference. Kason Evans, 231 opponent batting average. Anderson's was 20 points better, but Evans's was only 13 points better. It's not like they were getting teed off on. The walk numbers were way, way, way too high. Both Evans and Schmidt walked 31, and they threw right about 62 innings. Evans was 60, Schmidt was 64, but just think about this. They both walked 31 in about 62 innings, about half a walk an inning. Anderson had 35 walks in 119 innings. He doubled them in innings. Now, you get all of June for Anderson. You understand that, and they didn't get that opportunity, and both guys missed starts. Schmidt missed the last of the regular season and the SEC tournament. Anderson pitched in both of those last year, and they obviously pitched through the College World Series, but you're talking about double the innings, and the walks only went up by 4. Ianson, 152 strikeouts, 38 walks in 108 innings. The walk numbers for Schmidt and Evans were just astronomically high. And that's what got them. They did strike guys out. They did limit opponent batting average, but they walked too many guys. That's why their ERAs are 2 points higher than Anderson and Ianson. That was a big takeaway for me. You look at the bullpen. Other than Cooper Moore, who's just started in the non-conference, which is as good as you can do with your ERA, no one on the staff had an ERA better than 4.18. Nobody. 4.18. Nobody. Fontenot was 4.18. Sheeran 4.78. Cowan 5.32. Garcia almost 6. Guidry 6.5. Paz over 9. Last year, out of the bullpen, Kason Evans and Zach Cowan had ERAs under 3. The best LSU had this year was Grant Fontenot at 4.18. They just didn't have anybody that they could go to and feel like they could hold anybody down. LSU held SEC opponents to three or less runs 5 times. 3 or less 5 times. 3 of those 5 came against South Carolina. So that means in the other 27 games, 27 league games that you didn't play South Carolina, you held opponents to 3 or less twice. 2 out of 27. Last year, they did it 14 out of 30. You went from half, 14 out of 30, to basically 2 out of 27 against everybody at South Carolina. Like, that is such an unbelievable drop-off that it's just hard to fathom. How everyone in the bullpen and your starting rotation could just level off or drop off. That has to be a perfect storm. Nate Yeskie couldn't have possibly coached the guys he did with Holman, Jump, Herring, Christian Little, all improving significantly. Parlay that into Anderson, Ianson being way better than they were, and Cowan doing a great job, and Evans doing a great job. Rizzi did a good job last year. And then all of a sudden, you show up, and you go from holding SEC opponents to 3 or less. Did it 2 out of 27 this year after doing it 14 of 30 the year before. I just have a hard time thinking this wasn't just an all-time bad fortune situation. And I know that no one wants to hear me say that because everyone just feels a lot better saying fire the coach. But his track record suggests this is not the norm. And the insane amount of wild pitches, 90 of them, and issuing 8 bases free every single game, it just feels like a group of guys that just failed to execute time and time and time and time again. I don't think Nate Yeskie made significant adjustments that brought Kason Evans from a 2.05 ERA to a 6 ERA. Like, what did he do to Zach Cowan to drop him from 2.5 to 5.5? 3 runs worse. What could he have done? I just think it was all-time clunker. And I think they'll be a lot better next year. They just need new guys. They need to go get new guys. Because the guys they put out there this past year, the ERAs, the wild pitches, the walk totals, the inability to ever go out there and limit another team. I'm not asking for you to shut them out. 3 or less is not that high a bar to clear. But LSU couldn't ever do it. And you're asking your offense to go out there and get 9 to try to win a game. It ain't happening. Goodness gracious, that pitching staff, y'all, was just not good. They got a lot of work to do moving into next year with that group of guys, and they're going to need a new group of guys in a lot of instances. There was some good on the offense, though. Why don't I get to that when we come back?
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First, I'll tell you about Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. Customer service has really separated the Fabry family and their family of dealerships. 3 locations, 5 brands for a long time in our town. 35 years they've been at this. And it's because they take care of you. And you know that. And that's why you'll take that short drive to St. Francis Phillip Highway 61 to shop. Now, we live in a clicks world. We know that. So you can go to FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is right there. They've got new vehicles. You're looking for a new Yukon, new Denali, they got it. Looking for a new Chevy Silverado, it's on the lot, it's online. Maybe it's a certified pre-owned vehicle you're looking for. They've got those as well. If you're looking for an SUV to take the family to the beach or to grandparents' house or wherever you go for your family vacation, they've got them. Check out the website, FabryChevrolet.com. And you can go see them on Highway 61 in St. Francisville and experience that customer service difference. It's Fabry Chevrolet, online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trust it?
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hey, about Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been running the shop for 40 years down there, down the bayou, and they know what it's like to live in this part of the world. And they know how important what they do is keeping things running around here when the power goes out. That's where you get your Generac home standby generator from the good folks at Boudreaux's Electrical Services. You know, storm season just about here, so you want to make sure you've got that generator installed. You have the peace of mind to know that storm's not going to run your power out. Maybe that's at home. Maybe that's your business. If you're at a place of work where you can't have your building inoperable because you don't have power, well, get the generator put in. Boudreaux's Electrical is happy to help you do that. Justin or somebody great on their team will come out, survey the situation. They'll get you a quote really quickly, and then you can move forward with that Generac home standby generator, and you get the service that comes with it, which means monitoring it 24/7 and making sure there's no mechanical issue so that when your power goes out, the generator comes on, and you don't miss a beat. It's Boudreaux's Electrical Services. You can give them a call. Same phone number that they've had since they opened shop 40-plus years ago. So you can give them a call at 985-397-1562, 985-397-1562, or the Gonzales location, 225-300-9389. That's Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Okay, let's do some offensive statistics here. These will get out of whack as other teams play NCAA tournament games, so I wanted to take the snapshot immediately when everybody was kind of on level footing with the conference tournament being in the rearview mirror. LSU finished 5th in the SEC in runs per game. They scored 7.6 runs per game. That was 5th in offense. If you had told me in February that LSU would finish 5th in runs scored in the league, 3rd in walks, 7th in on base, 8th in home runs, 8th in batting average, I would have said, okay, that's not great. That doesn't sound like a top 8 national seed, but I think they'll pitch it okay. I think Evans is good. I think Schmidt is turning a corner. Cooper Moore we like, and they've got Cowan back there. They've got options. They've got some guys that look to be dominant style closers with Fontenot and Sheeran. And this is I know what I was thinking in February. It's not that long in the rearview mirror. I would have thought, okay, I understand these numbers aren't great. They didn't hit with the power that maybe I thought they would. Maybe you didn't get a jump from Curiel or you didn't get a jump from Brown. You're only 8th in home runs. If you're 5th in runs per game, that's enough to win enough games to potentially be a host, be a tournament team. But the pitching was so bad that 5th in the league in runs per game got you 3rd to last in the league. LSU scored at least 7 runs in 17 of 30 SEC games. At least 7. That's a big lick. 17 of 30 league games. That's more than half. And LSU lost 9 of the 17 where they scored at least 7 runs. 9 losses scoring 7+ in 30 games is preposterous. Preposterous. But that's what it was. I mean, LSU lost 3 in Starkville scoring 8 runs. It was 9 times scoring 7+. That is just really difficult to swallow. Now, I'm not trying to pin this on any specific player, but I've got the numbers in front of me. Zach York, Braden Simpson, Seth Dardar, Trent Caraway, the 4 guys that you brought in out of the portal to help you offensively, combined for the season to hit 247 with 14 home runs. 247 with 14 home runs between 4 players. Now, keep in mind, those 4 guys who combined for 14 home runs this year hit 60 last year. 60. They hit 14 this year. That's what Jay Johnson was talking about when he said we chased power. Now, they didn't play as much this year as they did last year, so that's part of it, but it just didn't translate. Zach York did a pretty good job of getting on base. He was one of 4 LSU players to walk 30 times, and he didn't even start really the last month, and he still walked 30 times. His on-base percentage was .411. Jake Brown's was .404. Zach York had a better on-base percentage than Jake Brown, which I would have not have guessed. But he didn't produce an extra base hit in SEC play. York did not have one SEC extra base hit, which makes life tough. I thought when York hit that home run in Jacksonville to right center, I was like, man, this guy's going to be a force up there at the top. Every pitcher, especially the right-handers, are going to have to come out, and then right at the top, face Milam, right at the top, face Curiel, right at the top, face York, right at the top, face Jake Brown. Those left-handed bats can keep coming and coming and coming, and it just did not happen. What did was Cade Arambidi breaking out. 343 SEC batting average for Cade Arambidi. 343 he hit in the league. Finished the entire season with 18 home runs. He was spectacular. He's going to be preseason All-American at catcher by a lot of different outlets. He's on his way to being a star, and really already is. Speaking of that, Mason Braun was great. You look at Braun, he led the team with 35 walks, and he only started 37 of the 58 games. So started just over half the games and led the team with 35 walks. He was also hit by 8 pitches. That was 4 off the team lead. I'm not sure if he's going to hit leadoff the rest of his career at LSU. They obviously liked him there on this team, but he certainly did a really good job of getting on base, and I thought that was awesome for Mason Braun. I did this last week, but just another hat tip to Derek Curiel. 82 hits. That was 16 more than the closest Tiger on this team. He hit 353, led the team in doubles with 18, led the team in steals with 13, played great center field defense. He was fantastic. I don't expect him, obviously, back at LSU next year. He should be a first-round pick based on the defense he played, his frame, and then the consistent bat-to-ball production here at LSU. But he was fantastic this year. The offense was good more often than it wasn't. There were bad weekends. LSU scored 5 total runs in the last 2 games of the Oklahoma series, lost them both. They scored 5 total runs in the first 2 games in Oxford. That wasn't good enough. They had 2 and 2 in the first 2 A&M games. That wasn't good enough. But on the whole, by the end of the year, you had a solid offense, and it would have been better if Jake Brown, Chris Stanfield, and Omar Cerna were healthy. Stanfield hit 228 on the season. He just wasn't himself. But you hit some homers, you drew walks, you scored enough runs more often than you didn't, and you just didn't get any help from the pitching staff. And that's really where I'll leave this season. We have to talk about the portal. We have to talk about draft decisions. Those don't come. The draft decisions don't come for another 6 weeks. The draft is a long, long, long way away. When we start doing NFL draft talk in late January, it's well, keep in mind, it's a long way away. The draft is a long way away right now. So you've got to take this season, compartmentalize it, look at the portal, and we'll get to what the high school signees and then what Curiel and Brown and Milam and those guys end up doing. The other guys that are draft eligible, Maverick Rizzi, John Pearson, Trent Caraway, there will be some decisions made and guys will figure out what they're doing as far as the portal goes. And the draft's a long way away. So it's hard for me. I can't give you any thoughts on the high school signing class. I wrote about this at LouisianaSports.net because I'm doing an overview of the team that we just watched. And everybody's going, what about the signing class? Like, what about next year's team? We're a long way from that. Like, you're going to start to get portal commitments in the next 5 days, but the high school guys are not going to hear their name called or not hear their name called for another 6 weeks. So we got a long way before we're surveying next year's team. That's why we're supposed to be watching this year's team in the box this weekend. It's just, it's too early to get into all that stuff. But I've got some thoughts on last year's team. I gave them to you there, and they're right there on LouisianaSports.net as well. And what a bummer of a year, man. That was not what you look for in an LSU baseball team. Hopefully Jay Johnson hard at work in the transfer portal, which he will be. He said in his post-game press conference in Hoover, I don't think I'll watch a lot of NCAA baseball tournament. My whole life's built around it, but I can't watch it. I'm confident that I will be able to watch it and enjoy it. Now, I won't enjoy it if it's like 2 years ago and every single team that I did not want to win was just winning every single day in Omaha, and we ended up with Tennessee and A&M, the two teams I hated the worst that year in Omaha. I didn't like that, but I like the event. I'm not going to have that big pit in my stomach. It turns out the real pain is when the season has a lot of promise and ends quickly. It's when Houston comes back and beats you twice in the regional. It's when you get your heart broken in Chapel Hill a couple years ago. It's when Stony Brook beats you in the Super. Coastal hits a bunch of homers off Lang and beats you in the Super. That's the one where it's hard for me the next day to get excited about college baseball because you felt like LSU had something taken from them. Not now. We've known for a month this team was not going to the NCAA tournament. And so now I think you put that to bed, and I'm excited to see what emerges. I'm hopeful that it's an ACC or Big Ten team, maybe a Big 12 squad. But I'll be excited. I'll be watching, and we'll have it on in here on Friday when we do the show. I'm looking forward to a little bit of baseball watching over the next 3 weeks. Let's hope that Georgia Tech gets the title. We'll come back, talk some Saints OTAs with Sharif Ishak. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Auction wants to remind you that May is Stroke Awareness Month, and they give you the acronym Be Fast. B-E, balance and eyes. Fast, F-A-S-T, face, arms, speech, time. Balance, the person's having trouble maintaining balance. Pay attention to that. Eyes, if the person's vision's affected or they're deviated to one side, be on the lookout. F, does one side of the face droop or is it numb? Arms, A, is one arm weak or numb? Is speech slurred? That's S. And then time. If a person shows any of these symptoms over time, even if the symptoms go away, you need to be aware of that. So balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, and time. There are some preventative measures that you can take for strokes. Limit alcohol use or avoid it. Manage cholesterol levels. Get regular exercise. Follow a healthy diet. May is Stroke Awareness Month. Be fast. That's from our friends at Auctioner.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management, immense.net, immense.net. Happy to help you out with all your IT needs, immense.net. Let's talk some Saints OTA. Sharif Ishak with us from WDSU in New Orleans. Sharif, how we doing?
Good. Hope you're doing well as well.
I am doing well. A lot of the internet sleuths are out there, and they're thinking that there's something suspicious about Alvin Kamara doing the Savannah Bananas in Knoxville and the Saints not using it for any social media content. Are you catching a conspiracy theory on this?
It's a little, interesting because Tyler Shuck got his love. I know it's in New Orleans, but there's nothing from Saints social media. If you want to be a conspiracy, but once again, I think the whole decision is going to be in Alvin Kamara's hands if he comes back or not.
What do you think about this Saints running back room competition? I know that you sign a running back to a deal with $12 million and a guy that's come off 3,000 or 4,000 yard seasons, that he's going to be the lead dog. But you think that Etienne is going to command the vast majority of the carries, or are there going to be folks that chip into that workload to try to keep him fresh?
I think it's going to be a vast majority with some chipping in. I don't think his workload is going to be as heavy as it was in Jacksonville. I think it'll be a little less than his workload there, and they've got to, man. They've got find a way to keep him fresh, man. He cannot let him go out there and do what he did with Jacksonville. I know he was healthy pretty much most of his career, not all of it. I know he dealt with a knee in one of the seasons, but you gotta protect your guy. You got to protect your investment. So I think that you're going to see, some guys behind him have to take some of that workload off of his shoulders.
Devin Neal is in that mix, obviously. Kendre Miller in that mix, obviously. And then we saw the late emergence last year from Audric Estime. Like, how do you feel that whole race shakes out? I realize Kamara is going to throw his hat in the ring there, we imagine, at some point, too.
You got to throw Ty Chandler in there as well.
Yeah.
You got so many guys. That's a position where, the Saints desperately needed some healthy bodies over the last few years and didn't have it. So I think that right now, the way it shakes out, it's Devin Neal, number 2. Let's just say Devin Neal and Alvin Kamara, 2, 3, in that order. And then somebody has to fill that 4 slot, whether it's Estime or Kendrick Miller or Ty Chandler. I know Ty Chandler is a good return guy, but that is also going to fall on the shoulders of Marion Brown. So it's a good thing to have a lot of players at these positions where they were struggling with health. I just can't wait to see how it shakes out, Hunt, because who knows what if Estime passes most of these guys up and he climbs up the depth chart because of what he did last year. So I'm expecting some solid depth there this season.
Is Kendre Miller the most talented of that group, or is he just the guy that you say that because you haven't seen him do very much?
I would say, Hunt, he's the guy that has the most potential in that group. Potential is a dangerous word, but he just can't stay healthy, Hunt. I mean, point blank, he cannot stay healthy. Best ability is availability. I know it's a cliche to say it a lot on your show, but if he can't stay on the field, it's hard to tell if he's the best one of the bunch behind Achane. It's so hard to tell. He has that potential and that talent, but he's just never on the field. And right now, I kind of like Devin Neal. I truly like Devin Neal a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's reason to. He's a leading rusher in the history of Kansas football. He was a very productive college player and a guy that a lot of people liked in the preseason last year. And then there were injuries that obviously happened, and that's been the issue with the Saints at running back outside of really Kamara, and he's been banged up the last couple of years. But like with this group, like, do you feel like they've got a chance to be a top half of the NFL rushing attack?
Oof, that's a tough one to answer. And right now, I can't say yes. I've got to be honest with you, I can't say yes. Because you're looking at one star and then a bunch of unknowns.
Kamara's a known. We just don't know if he's going to be on the team.
Yeah, he's a known, and even if he's on the team at 31 years old, I mean, if you look at his numbers since 2020, it's a steady decline, and it's a sharp decline, especially since 2020, 2021. So, no, right now I can't say. I got to say no right now, Hunt. I mean, it's just one guy and a bunch of unknowns in an aging Alvin Kamara.
What are storylines from OTAs that you're looking forward to?
I want to see if Alvin Kamara shows up to any of the OTAs over the next 3 weeks. That's my number one, or if something happens. I'm just going to keep it in terms of guys who are on contract. Obviously, we know we're waiting to hear from Cam. I want to see how the receivers do with Tyler Shuck. I want to see how Tyson and the rest of the rookies gel with Devon Bailey and Chris Olave and Shuck just all together. I just want to see how it works out, how they line up, with sets they get in. I know we're probably not going to see much of that in OTAs, maybe a little bit more in minicamp, but I do want to see that. I want to see how it looks because there's a lot of speed in the field, Hunt. I want to see how they can utilize those guys all together.
And they're no doubt they've increased the weapon load for Tyler Shuck, and now the expectation level, I think, ratchets up on him a little bit. Do you expect to see him looking a little bit different as far as his command of the team than the last time that you saw him in this position?
Oh, of course. You'd expect him to be a little bit more comfortable in Kellen's system. And you give him a little bit more protection along the offensive line. You give him more weapons. I think you're going to see a lot more confidence in him, comfortability, and command of that offense. And I think you'll see that continue as the year goes out, and the growth will continue within that offense because of him and because of Kellen Moore.
What do you feel about Cam? I got to ask you every week.
I still feel that, like, the ball's in his court. I think that the offer's there. I think that they are going to see if he takes it. I mean, I think this is his best offer. And I know he says what he says on Twitter about certain things and on podcasts, but I think deep down inside, I think he'd like to just, complete the legacy in New Orleans. I just don't want to see, I don't think he wants to see himself go finish with another team, whether if it's Chicago, the Rams, or somebody else who's a contender. I just think, like, why not for him finish where he started?
It would be really cool if he did come back and found a role, because obviously he's a big piece to what they're trying to do in the locker room. But we shall see OTAs cranking up there for the black and gold. Sharif Ishak will be covering it for WDSU down in New Orleans. All right, I know the Pels have had meetings with the media now. Now I know that you heard from Pels' new coach about Zion Williamson. Like, how do you feel that transition is going to this point?
I think that, Jamal Mosley had a lot of good things to say in terms of Zion Williamson. He still has pretty much some untapped potential, still hasn't scratched the surface. That's exactly what Jamal Mosley said. I can't wait to see how he uses them. He's a defensive-minded head coach. They were top 3 in defensive rating in 2 of the last 3 seasons, but that's where the Pelicans fell short, is their defense. Zion struggles on defense. So I'm interested to see how he gets Zion's defense at least a little bit better, because he's struggled throughout his career playing defense. But some of the takeaways I took is accountability and unapologetically physical. That's how he wants to play, and that's what they did in Orlando. He stepped in and rebuilt the franchise there, but he doesn't have to rebuild one here, even though the last 2 years would say differently. But he feels like they're on the cusp, more of a rebuild. I'm interested in see how he builds his coaching staff outside of God Shamgod, amazing basketball name.
Yes.
Other than that, man, they've got to add some 3-point shooting, consistent 3-point shooting. Other than their defense, 3-point shooting was a massive issue last year.
No doubt about that. Sharif Ishak's all over it with the Pels and the Saints down in New Orleans. He's covering for WDSU. He's with us on Tuesdays. Thanks, man.
All right, I'll see you next Tuesday.
He is Sharif Ishak in New Orleans. Speaking of basketball, get to a little bit of news before we take our last break of the show. Alan Graves has announced that he has every intention of staying in the NBA draft. He's in the transfer portal, was out at Santa Clara from right down here in South Louisiana, played at Ponchatoula, and was an incredible player as a freshman for Santa Clara, and a guy that it appeared was down to LSU, Duke, in the NBA. And now it appears after he goes to the Combine and works out, where he did say entering the Combine, like, hey, if I do work out, and I would prefer to become an NBA player next year than to play in college again, which is fine to say. I think there are a lot of kids that would say that. But obviously there was a backup plan with LSU and Duke. Folks thought LSU was probably the landing point, but he's now telling folks that he's staying in the NBA draft, and the Combine performance made it likely that he's a top 20 pick in the NBA draft. That does come with a nice little chunk of change, and it comes with guaranteed roster spots. So those are good things to have. And so it sounds like one of the guys that Will Wade has targeted is not going to end up at LSU, and that was one that you weren't going to have to haggle over eligibility, because Graves just a true transfer who was a freshman last year. Just all the eligibility in the world. You could want not necessarily 4 years of European basketball or 1 year and some change in the G League or all these issues that LSU is probably going to run into trying to put this roster together. Graves is one of the traditional ones, and obviously that would have been a really nice get for the Tigers, but it did not appear to work out, as he has told NBA reporters that he's looking forward to heading to the NBA. So bummer for Will Wade, who's going to continue to try to fill this thing out. I am a little bit concerned about the numbers if there are some players deemed illegal. You are a little bit short on numbers. And Will Wade has said, like, we're going to pay 7 or 8 guys. Well, if 2 of the guys you decide to pay are ineligible, and now you've only paid 5 guys, and you're trying to fill the rest of the roster out, which is 7 more beyond the 5, like, that's not ideal. Now, Will knows a lot more about where they are with a lot of different people and what kind of money they've got and who's still on the board and all that kind of stuff, and I don't have access to that. So I trust that he's in control of it. I'm just saying, with that trust, I'm looking at this going, I'm a little uneasy about it. A little uneasy about it because it just doesn't appear that LSU's got the numbers you would want. But again, he told the folks at, who was that? John Rothstein, CBS. He's like, well, we're lying in terms of what you know. So we'll see what we find out. We'll wait at LSU here as we move forward in this offseason of college basketball. That's it for this segment. That's almost it for our show. We'll take one more time out. We'll come back, close things out on the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. On Segan at Perkins. We are close to announcing our 2 winners that are going to compete for a spot in the Summer Golf League over there at Swing Easy. They're going to do a 2-man scramble league that's going to play once a week. If that interests you, you want to check it out, go by and see them at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. They're on Segan at Perkins in the shopping mall. You can't miss it, to the right. It's an awesome spot to go hang out, go hit some shots, and now to compete in a league setting on cool courses with scramble mode engaged and maybe some drinks flowing, music blaring. Get the old television cranked up. It felt like we were going to be playing on a simulator all weekend, but it turns out I was able to play outside. If you want to go check out Swing Easy when the weather's not so good, you can also do that as well. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com. Go by and see them on Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And a shout out to the folks over at Immense. They're online at immense.net, immense.net. They are not just an IT company in the way that most of us who aren't in IT think about it. It's not like, oh, well, this computer's frozen. Like, can you fix this? They are a managed service provider. They essentially work for you without being on your payroll. Instead of calling someone when it breaks, they're watching your systems before anything goes wrong. You got one flat monthly cost that replaces those unpredictable repair costs, those sudden surprise emergencies. They've been doing this in Baton Rouge for 20 years. It's not a national call center. It's local. They know the market. And if you run a business and don't have somebody proactively, not reactively, proactively managing your technology, you're one bad day away from a very expensive problem. And Immense wants to make sure that you're taken care of in that way. So if that sounds appealing, or you've got an IT department that is overwhelmed or underperforming, Immense is not necessarily looking to take over. They're looking to help, and they can do that for you. They're online at immense.net. It's immense.net. All right, I guess one order of business left. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, with the Cleveland Cavaliers getting eliminated yesterday, there is truly in question that there might be a homecoming with LeBron James, but it's not going to be cheap. So according to ESPN's Brian Windhorst, he discussed today that the Cavs, they would like to sign LeBron James, but only for $3 million. The problem is LeBron...
He's made that a quarter for like 20 years.
Oh, no. So the problem is LeBron made $54 million this year. And Brian Windhorst reported that, to his knowledge, LeBron is not prepared to take any type of pay cut. So, taking a $51 million pay cut, take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. Now, LeBron, I believe, is a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
So, it doesn't really matter.
100%.
If he makes 28 or 3, there's no perceptible change.
At all.
Whatever works for him, but I don't think that's going to work for him.
Yeah, I know. $51 million pay cut. That's a little extreme to say the least. So, on topic of the Eastern Conference, the New York Knicks are back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. In fact, the entire San Antonio Spurs starting lineup was born after 1999.
Huh?
So does this mean that the Knicks got to be back, right? Take it or leave it?
Take it. They're back. Look, I have enjoyed seeing the Garden popping.
It's been popping.
That is good for hoops. Like, it's great that Oklahoma City's popping, and it would be cool if Orlando or New Orleans was popping, but there's nothing that's like the Garden. I mean, it's just nothing like that. It's like Yankee Stadium, Wrigley Field. It's just a different deal, and so that is good for hoops for sure.
And I'll say this about the Knicks being back, and I guess just the Knicks becoming relevant again, is because all you hear, leading up into the NBA season is about how the Knicks, they're going to do this, and they never do it. So that I'm finally seeing this, all these are Stephen A. Smith gassing them up to no return. Now the Knicks are actually doing this, especially with, they say that the small guards are dead in the NBA, and Jalen Brunson is a small guard doing it. It's crazy to see that. Everybody wants these 6'5" guards, and you got a 6'1" guy tearing everybody up. So it's good to see that. So I'm gonna give the Knicks a little bit of credit, even though I don't like the Knicks. So the first major league no-hitter since 2024 happened last night as the Houston Astros no-hit the Texas Rangers, but it was a combined no-hitter. It's Houston's fourth combined no-hitter, with the most famous coming in Game 4 of the 2022 World Series against the Phillies. So should combined no-hitters be celebrated just as solo no-hitters? Take it or leave it?
Leave it. One guy goes 9 innings. That's better than 4 guys covering some outs.
I don't like the combined no-hitters either.
I mean, I think it's a no-hitter, and if you want to take the ball and send it to Cooperstown and pop some champagne in the dugout, I'm not going to yell at you, but it's clearly way more impressive for one guy to go out there, get it done. You just don't see it anymore because starting pitchers get pulled after 4 2/3 just about every day.
So are we ever – that was a good point. Because it feels like every time I'm watching baseball, or I put on a baseball game, the pitchers only go on 5 innings.
That's it.
6 innings.
Can't see the third time through the order. Stats go through the roof. Going to the bullpen.
What is this?
It's analytics. It's the guys from the Ivy League schools that run the departments. That's what Jay Johnson was talking about when he was like, they don't. The managers have some say, but not a lot of say because they
like on Moneyball.
Yeah, the front office is going to tell you when this guy can pitch, when he can't pitch, who he needs to pitch against, how long he needs to be out there. And they're just not going to let you do it. They're not going to let you call the shots because they've got the numbers. So that's the way it goes.
Wow, that's disgusting. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
That's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Tuesday. Again, hope everybody had a wonderful and safe Memorial Day weekend. It was a great one for the Palmer team up there in Shrevesburg. Got a little golf, got a little pool time, got some food and drink. It was great. Hope that yours was as good as well. Unfortunately, that's the end of the content because I told y'all when we were signing off Wednesday of last week, I knew I was out on Thursday and Friday. I was like, this is my last in-game show, and I don't have a game to talk about until Labor Day, which is a tough scene. But what do we got? Well, we got NCAA Tournament Baseball, which we're going to spend a little bit of time on. We got SEC spring meetings, which Kiffin's about to talk here in an hour, and we'll see what he has to say. That's going to be something. You still got Will Wade trying to put a basketball roster together. We'll keep an eye on that. Jay Johnson is going to have his exit meetings this week. Those are probably already done. Now it's about getting into position to get into the transfer portal when it opens on June 1st and be ready to go. You got to host visitors. You got to put a baseball roster together, and we'll certainly see. I'm confident some LSU players will transfer out because that's the way things always go. So we'll keep an eye on LSU baseball reconstruction as well. Football's got to do their recruiting too. And so we'll keep an eye on the high school side of things with LSU football and Lane Kiffin. And that's kind of the framework for the summer to come. We got SEC Media Days coming up in July. But for us, June is going to be about basketball roster, baseball roster, football recruiting, and then whatever anybody says. We don't have to quite get into list season, which is kind of what happens in August. This guy said this is that. Yeah, but we've got the Saints OTAs coming up. We'll handle that for sure. And we're still a long way away from training camp. So it is the slowest time of the year. And when your baseball team, they went 4 more weeks on us from here. So we've got to shift up the agenda And we appreciate you all for hanging out with us. We'll be with you every step of the way in LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson covering things incredibly well from a Saints side of things. We've got some stories up, statistically speaking. I've got breakdowns of LSU's basketball transfer portal guys that are up, that are on my portal profile. And tomorrow I've got to, on this show, face the music on my preseason projections. I gave 3 or 4 or 5, I can't remember because I haven't looked at them, bold predictions. And then we're going to have to get into that on the show. So we'll see how that all shakes out. And I'll give you my thoughts when we get to it. So we'll look forward to getting into that. If we missed any of our show today, catch it on demand wherever you have your sound. First segment today, I just kind of talked about what went wrong for LSU baseball. Got into some LSU hoops with Glenn West. We did a little bit of discussion about the SEC spring meetings and what guys were saying. There's a lot being talked about, and the college football playoff and expansion is a real talking point over there in Destin. Also had Sharif Ishak talking Saints and some thoughts on LSU hitting and pitching from the year that went by. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand. Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your sound. Matt's out today. Muso's going to drive you home next. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is that website. Look, I think it's generally a good idea to have your roof checked out before storm season, right? You want to make sure that you're in the best position you can be to protect your biggest investment for most people. It's your house and the people under that roof. Pretty important. So Lifetime Roofing's happy to come in and do an inspection. Maybe you need a repair before storm season. Maybe you need a new roof before storm season. Maybe it's just a tune-up. They can do that for you and make sure that you're in the best position you can be for storm season. So if that's not something you've thought about, think about it and contact them at LifetimeRoofingLA.com. They've got financing options available for 18 months. If you want to finance a deductible, they can do that as well. Lifetime workmanship warranty every single time at Lifetime Roofing. It's Baton Rouge based. Louisiana's home for them. You can trust them with your roof. It's LifetimeRoofingLA.com.
At Parrish, we're built for tough